It's Kevin McCullough, AFA Today, in our final segment today. We're glad that you're with us. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. And we're talking about what constitutes an apology from the president's perspective. Did you hear an apology? I played you the entire interview. It was in chunks, but of what Chuck Todd asked him. He asked him directly about the problems. He got to the apology at the end, but did it sound like an apology to you? I'm just taking a polling here. Let's talk to John in Virginia, who we just put on hold before we went to the break. John, thanks for your patience. Your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, Kevin, I don't buy it for 1 minute. I don't buy any of the apologies. I mean, obviously, usually when somebody sincerely apologizes, they won't go back and do it again. You know, even my grandson in school, and you know, he'll go tell the teacher, "I'm sorry," but you know, he doesn't do it again. My teacher says, well, his problem is he'll go and get in trouble and doing something else. But you know, but normally, you know, I think you know, we're still on the same page as biblically that you know we still have to give them the forgiveness. We still have to forgive. Jesus said 7 times, 77 times we're supposed to forgive our brothers, and you know. We do have to be on guard with that because obviously the Bible also does say that you know the devil will even try to deceive the elect.
Well, and that's an interesting point. And let me dig deep on that for a second. What does forgiveness, if he asks for the apology, what does forgiveness look like to you? Does it mean we say, okay, well, you're forgiven, and whatever happens now happens, and we're just all okay with that, or what? Can you forgive someone and still desire a different outcome in the scenario?
Absolutely, I believe that. I believe, you know, just for instance, I would give an example of if somebody, even a family member, if you found out that somebody robbed something from you in your home, you know, and you know, you found out it was the person, you know, you can go ahead and forgive them, but you better believe that if the person comes over my house, I'm not going to leave my wallet sitting on the table any longer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I would definitely be on guard with it. I would still forgive him and believe in God will work that out. You know, He does say that He will restore. He will restore things that the locust had come and devoured. And I do believe, you know, we can go into this for a long time with different scenarios and what government strategies and what they're up to. I believe personally, if you remember in the Roman times, you know, we didn't have a middle class. And we only had the rich and the poor. And I still believe they're trying to squeeze money out of the middle class and try to bring it back to that type of life again. Because,
well, I don't know who would benefit from that, even from a political standpoint. But you know, John, you're certainly welcome to your theories and opinions, just like everybody else is. I'm not trying to shut yours down. Any political party that would try to eliminate the middle class is really not. They're not very forward thinking in terms of what you need to do to win elections, and maybe you don't need to win elections in some people's future anymore. By the way, did you see? I didn't bring this out on this broadcast, but there was an article late last week, in which the president was caught saying, "I think I had one more campaign in me." I'm like, really? Are you going to go be a senator again after you're done? Because you can't get no more in the White House. That's not you've used all those up. They're gone. You know, would you really run for senator or I don't know, congressman? Funny, interesting observation. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Debbie in Texas. Hi, Debbie. Welcome.
Thank you.
What's your thought?
Well, I have a question. I don't know if you're aware of the news. This is something I'm comparing my question to. The new things that the Europeans are coming out with now, where they're going to euthanize children that are not viable in the world by themselves,
right.
Like children that may have CP or that.
Yep, I actually talked about that on my other show, the Kevin McCullough Show, last week, and it's Belgium that's introducing the legislation to consider that. What was it about that? I mean, obviously it's disturbing to talk about euthanizing kids, but how does that relate to what we're talking about today?
Okay, on the Obamacare, they have mentioned that when you get to be a certain age, okay, I have lupus, I'm 51, and what kind of scares me is like when I get a certain age, Are they just going to put me out to pasture, or are they going to give me a pill that puts me down, like an old horse, well, if that horse ain't good anymore, we'll just put her down so it won't cost us insurance. Or people with cancer or something.
Well, that was from the beginning, Debbie. That was one of the concerns that a lot of people had. From the beginning, and Sarah Palin was made fun of for talking about it. Thank you for the call. She was made fun of for talking about it because she said, she invoked the term death panels. But in essence, if the economy does not continue to sustain the amount of monies needed to keep Obamacare in place, and no economic forecaster has had any other conclusion but that at some point it will not, then the way Obamacare deals with the lack of resourcing is to begin to selectively choose who gets the benefits. And now you're talking about not just government having its hand on the biggest amount of information and one of the most important elements of a person's private life, but now you're talking about a government program that establishes the chain of command as to who gets to decide who gets which service. Now, for Sarah Palin to call them death panels and for her to be ridiculed, that's all cute and whatever that the liberals want to think it is. But she was absolutely correct that there will be bureaucratic decisions about whether or not your life is deemed valuable, whether or not you as a 56-year-old man, white man, who maybe smokes or does something else, should have the right to a cancer surgery over a 38-year-old woman who doesn't. And first of all, why is government even making that decision? That's not a decision that the government should be making. Those are all decisions related to the choices of the individuals involved. So if the woman chooses not to smoke, so she is more healthy and she has insurance that allows her to get the cancer surgery when it's necessary, she should be allowed to have it regardless of who else is out there where. It's called individual responsibility. If the 56-year-old man insists upon smoking, knowing that he's running a risk of developing lung cancer or some other ailment, emphysema, etc., and he does it anyway, just because he's politically connected, he shouldn't get the nod from a bureaucratic panel that says, okay, he gets the surgery and she doesn't. The bureaucrats shouldn't be making any decision related to it. God is not pleased in that scenario for a couple of reasons. One, it sets up people to make decisions about life and death and such that he does not intend fellow human beings to have. And it also then gives people a reason to avoid stewardship. It gives people a reason to avoid eating healthy because, hey, I got health care. I got Obamacare. I can get whatever's done that I need done. I can live any way I jolly well please. And that's not being a steward of the life that you have, the body that you have, the nutrition that you have at your disposal, the ability to make decisions of sound mind. That doesn't account for any of that. So to me, it's always been everything else. The website not working, the fact that 6 people signed up on day one, that's all funny and it's a joke and ha ha ha. And that's in essence what the president apologized for last night, is that the website got broken and that people haven't been able to register. It's not the registration part that's the problem. It's the insurance policy cancellations that say we can no longer service your policy. It's the people that are having to look for coverage now, paying 10 times the price of what they were before. And it's still the fact that the president is saying you're going to pay less to get more coverage, whether you want the more coverage or not. And it's not less. See, if Chuck Todd had really been doing his job as an interviewer last night, that's the follow-ups he would have had for him. Well, why is it costing more? And if the president says, no, you're mistaken, it's costing less, then pull out the facts. To me, that would have been a far better, even if he didn't apologize, that would have been a far better use of the airtime than to let him say, again, for the 8,000th time, well, you're going to get better coverage, but you're going to pay less for it. I don't know anybody that has. 888-589-8840, and it's not because I'm a Republican or a Democrat. I don't wear a jersey. I'm not into that game. This is about pure, rational, common sense. It's about pure understanding of facts. And at the end of the day, the president seems to still be kind of shading them. saying things like he did in his apology. Well, you're still going to be able to get more insurance, but for less money. Let's go to Logan in Louisiana. Logan, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for your call.
Yes, sir. I just want to talk about, I, first of all, by and large, disagree with Obamacare. I mean, on a national level, I think it's horrible for our country, especially in the economic times we're in now. But I do believe, though, that there should have been some reformation to the healthcare system because, I mean, we were paying a lot. But I was just going to tell you, like, my story and how it kind of helped me. Now, there again, not Obamacare as a whole, but just a specific part of it.
Okay.
I just graduated from college in accounting, and I just got married, and I'm studying to get my CPA. Mm-hmm. And all I'm doing right now is working for a church. So I don't have health care coverage whatsoever. One positive thing about it, and it's about the only positive thing I've seen, is that I can be on my parents' insurance still until I'm 26, even though I'm married. I just figured I would bring up maybe a bright side to it.
And you're married, and you feel good about being on your parents' health care coverage?
Well, the thing about it is right now I have to be because I don't have a job that has health care. And
you didn't try to find a policy that you could afford buying directly?
Well, I couldn't afford it. That's the thing. I'm working as a youth minister right now. The church doesn't provide anything like that.
No. But what I'm saying is, there's lots of people in your situation, Logan, and what many of them that I've known have done. And I had some employees. I don't provide health care for my employees, but I provide them stipends to put towards policies that they can buy for themselves. And one of the guys had an individual policy. It gave him all of his major medical and catastrophic and everything else. I think he was paying about $150 a month for that as a single man. Now, it'd be a little bit more for a young married couple, but I don't see. I guess, Logan, some people look at that and go, yeah, that's a great thing. You know, you get to piggyback on mom and dad for a little bit longer. In my mind, I'm like, that just encourages dependency. That doesn't encourage you to stand up and be a man in your own household and to provide for your family.
Here's the other side of that. Like, if I weren't on my parents' health care right now, I wouldn't be going to get my CPA right now. Like, I would be just a normal accountant at the local firm. What I'm trying to do is get my CPA so I can get a better job. You see what I mean? Like, I'm all for, taking care of yourself and everything. And I would be doing so right now, but I would be an accountant making, $50,000 a year the rest of my life instead of trying to, eliminate that glass ceiling on my potential, No,
I understand. And look, and I'm not saying that nothing positive has come from it, but I have seen, particularly since the exchanges have been brought out, is that people that are actually paying for their own health care, they're not saving any money. And the fact that you're getting to stay on your mom and dad's, that's a benefit to you. But, it's not comparable to the millions that have had private policies canceled and being told now you got to get into the exchanges, and people that were paying $50 a month for policies that they liked are now having to pay $500+ a month to get a policy that includes things that they don't need. What does a 56-year-old woman need abortion care for? Or birth control? And yet there was a well-documented case in Florida of a woman that had a $54 policy a month, mostly just catastrophic. She was in pretty good health, didn't need a lot of other stuff. That was what she had. She got a cancellation letter. She got on the exchanges. Now it's going to be 10 times that to keep basic coverages for her in place. Alan in Texas. Alan, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. Hi.
Hey, Kevin. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, comment on the lady that spoke just a little bit ago. In my opinion, this government is absolutely craving to have that type of power to where they could dictate, who gets the benefits and who doesn't. I mean, that's exactly where we're headed. Anybody can't see the writing on the wall. I mean, they got to wake up, but anyway, the other thing was very, very good. What the gentleman spoke, what you said as far as Obama's apology or what have you, I'm with him. Hey, if you like your apology, you can keep it. I'll hang up and listen for your comments on the line. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the weekend when it gets to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And pray for us. Our family's going through some stuff, and we've been bravely keeping a face. But everyone that encourages us, it means a lot. That was my friend Steve Dace, who's heard on some of these stations in the evening. I think about 17 of them that carry the Steve Dace Show, and he's a primarily political talker out of Iowa. But he tweeted last night that if the president liked his apology, then he could just keep it. And I thought that was very well said when you think about it. And another thing, and you can actually get a preview of this for tonight, the Kevin McCullough show that airs in some of those same cities tonight. The Obamacare issue came to the Country Music Awards over the weekend. Now, or this week. Now, I didn't. I'm not a country music aficionado. I don't know the artists and the songs and everything else. But we'll give you a little sample of how Obamacare made its way. Just a little teaser there. Plus, tonight on the Kevin McCullough Show, the Syria issue and what's happening with children in the face of what looks like a new polio outbreak, and how Christian children in particular are being affected by that as they are refugees. Please check out the Kevin McCullough Show tonight, an important episode, and we hope that you'll be with us then. Until then, I'm Kevin McCullough. I look forward to seeing you on Monday on AFA Today, here from New York, as we are each weekday, only on AFR Talk. Thanks for being here.